Pat's on deck at the end of the regular season. Perfect time for me to finally actually be able to record one of these from the deck myself. Kyle Parmley here with Northwest Shoals coach Angel Brown. Coach, the regular season has come to a close. You guys finish it off with a bang on Saturday. The two games that you beat Northeast Alabama had to feel good to get those two much-needed wins as you wrapped up the regular season.
Yes, it was very important that we finished out with those last two so we could go ahead and make sure we made it into conference. Yep.
Yeah, very much so. There's been a lot going on. I mean, there's the stress of making sure you get into the conference tournament, and then there's all the emotions that come with the last
Yeah.
weekend on your home field. Um, how do you kind of summarize all the stress, the emotions, just everything that has been going on these last few weeks?
Uh, to summarize it, I would definitely, you could use the term bittersweet, you could use the word tiring, you could use all of that, and it is very emotional because there are a lot of lasts that are happening
Yeah,
for our sophomores. We've got 10, one of them's going to return, so we've really got 9 that we're sending off.
yeah,
But, to know that they played their last games here at Patriot Park and, we're moving into that next season. From the beginning, we looked at it as different seasons, and it's time for a new season. And I don't know about how the girls feel about it, but I know for me, yesterday was a good time for me to take a breath and kind of calm down and reset a
seriously.
little bit because there has been a lot going on. You've got graduation that the girls are missing on Thursday because we'll be at conference tournament. So we were able to surprise them with a surprise graduation here after the games on Saturday. We had our end of the year banquet where we had the families come together to eat and hang out and kind of let the girls talk and tell everybody how thankful we are for their support. And then we got another surprise because the Teague family invited us up for a crawfish bowl on yesterday, so we got to go up and make crawfish. So just a good time of fellowship, and it's a great way to end the season. And it just it's bittersweet to see them go, but I'm very proud of how much they've grown.
So what's the plan this week? Conference tournament starts later on this week. You got a
Mm-hmm.
couple days to kind of reset, refresh, and maybe hone in on a couple things before you head down there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you can see in the background, we've got our bullpens going, just kind of cleaning up a couple of things, working on some kinks. We've got some pitchers that are back in the rotation finally after some injuries, and then as we move into practice, we're going to focus on hitting because that was something that was kind of struggling for us at the very end of the season. Our pitchers are doing fantastic, and our bats just weren't alive.
Yeah.
And finally, Saturday they started looking like themselves. Thank goodness. So we scored 9 runs, and I think it's been a long time since we scored that many runs. So, we're starting to kind of get it back together. So just going back to, what worked for us last week, getting us ready, and, we'll knock it out with 2 days of practice. And then they don't know this. They got a surprise coming tomorrow. So we're going to change it up. Instead of doing weights this week, we're going to do a little bit different conditioning tomorrow. So I'll surprise them with that in the morning. And then we'll head down on Wednesday to go to conference.
Yeah. So conference tournament play starts on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Does the approach change at all in those games where I mean, now this time of the year you got to win or it's it.
The great thing about softball is that anybody can win on any given day.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I think the pressure's kind of off because we did accomplish the first goal, and the next goal is just playing as hard as we can. So kind of going into it, we've seen everybody, unlike some conferences where you don't see anybody till you get to the conference
Yeah.
tournament. And we're just very blessed, that we've already seen each other. So we've kind of got an idea what to expect, and we'll just kind of go back and check some things to see who's improved on what areas and what we need to be prepping for, and we'll be ready.
How much do you lean on the sophomores that were in that tournament environment last year, whereas the freshmen have never seen that quite before?
I think experience is huge. Just being there and feeling the environment. We talked about it. I think it was last Thursday or Friday. I asked them. I said, "How many of you've played in a regional tournament? How many of you've made it to area?" And then we talked about the difference between the energy around those games versus the regular season games.
Mm-hmm.
And energy is great. The pressure is great, but it's going to be who rises to those levels. And if they've been there before, they can repeat it. So I think the sophomore leadership going into this with them having been there and knowing kind of what to expect is going to be completely different
Yeah.
than what we had last year.
Awesome. Well, Coach, I'm glad to finally be able to join you on the
Glad you're
deck
here.
today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk to a few of them and then get ready for conference play later this
Absolutely.
week.
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk a little bit about last weekend's games. So Northwest Shoals capped off the regular season slate, the conference slate. They played Northeast Alabama, and we've got two of the stars of the show from Saturday, Emma Claire Wilson and Mackenzie Heitch. All right, girls, so tell me about the Saturday sweep. EC, your first action of the year. You got to pitch the 8th inning, and then Big Mac comes through in the bottom half to win the game. How cool was that to get out there and to throw an inning for this team?
Honestly, it was this season my first and last inning ever playing on Pat Field, and it just felt amazing. I felt so happy that the coaches could depend on me to go out there and finish it out. So it just felt amazing.
Was this like y'all's secret weapon that you've been hiding all year?
Yes.
Well, funny story actually. The team, Northeast Alabama, was flipping through the pages trying to find me. They were like, I didn't know they had another pitcher. So the girls were freaking out. The coach was freaking out. So that was pretty cool.
It worked out.
It
worked out. All right, well, tell me about your at-bat in the bottom of the 8th inning on that first game to get the walk-off hit.
Well, I was 0 for that game, 0 for 3, and I was like, I've got to do it. It's time. And they hadn't thrown me any outside, and I was looking for an outside pitch. We had 2 outs, and she threw it, and I swung, and I saw the first baseman duck, and I just knew she was going to score. I was yelling, run, run, run! And she scored, and I was so excited. In the video, you can see me and Ken. We were going in for a hug, but we both jumped, so it was like a chest bump hug.
And then you turned that into a great game in the second. You hit a home run, 5 RBIs. Sound like a good day for you.
It was a good day. About time, too.
About time. So how do you feel like that's going to give you some positive momentum as you guys head into conference tournament play this week?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so what's the vibe like? How are y'all feeling now that, all right, all the work you put in, all off-season, preseason, during the season has led to the postseason. It's conference tournament time. What's it feel like?
I mean, I think a lot of pressure is off of us because we're in the tournament now, and we had that little space where we didn't know. So I think a lot of pressure is off of us a little bit, but I think we're just going to go in like playing pat ball like we know how to play it, not think too much about it, and just have fun.
How about you, Matt?
We just have fun and play pat ball. Nobody can beat us.
You play pat ball. That sounds like a good plan.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you at Veterans Park later this week.
Yes, sir.
Joined by a couple of the Patriot sophomores today. We've got Kennedy Clark, we've got Aspen Tig. All right, so let's talk about last weekend. So there was a lot going on. Saturday was a big day on and off the field. Well, kind of on the field, all of it. And then over the weekend, y'all were able to do some fun stuff as well. But here's where I want to start. I want to start with you guys finish off the regular season. How much pressure did you guys feel knowing that, the games mattered over these weekends to try to just get into the conference tournament and how you guys were able to handle that pressure and thrive through it?
Well, I think this pressure was different than last year's. Mm-hmm. I didn't really feel that kind of pressure last year. Mm-hmm. So this year when we secured the 2 wins on Saturday, it was like a huge relief. And it was just kind of like, okay, we're in the tournament. Like, there's nothing to lose now. Like, we just got to play. So I feel like in this regular season, like, I feel like we had something to lose. But now we can play. Mm-hmm. We get to play more games.
Yes, you do.
So
yes.
I guess like pressure was like, oh, my last game,
yes.
And I wanted to go as far as I could.
Mm-hmm.
So.
You're never ready for that last game, so we had kind of talked about it. Like, we couldn't let Saturday be our last day because it just been a shock to all of us. And just making sure everybody came in, not thinking about the what ifs, because there was a lot of what ifs going into Saturday. And so we kind of talked to them and told them, we're not trying to put pressure on you, but it's a fact that we do have to win these 2 games to get in. And everybody just kind of took that and had the dog mentality and came out and played pat ball.
Yeah. Well, Saturday y'all had 2 really big wins, but also the sophomores had a little ceremony. So tell me a little bit about that. Did you know that was coming?
No.
No.
She kept saying guest speaker. She didn't tell us graduation.
Yeah. Yeah, so when she said guest speaker and then she said we're going to get our diploma or fake diplomas.
Yeah.
It was like, oh man. I didn't expect it to go emotional.
No, as soon as she said it in the huddle, I started crying, and I was like, why are you crying? But it just makes it real, knowing that really was our last time playing on Pat Field.
Yeah, how special of a day does that make it that you played your last games on this field? You get to have a graduation ceremony on this field. I mean, this is a place y'all spend tons of hours here that, a lot of people see the games, but not all the other hours that go into, like, y'all poured a lot into what's going on right behind us.
Yeah, it was special. I think walking on Pat Field was more special than a stage.
Oh yeah, I would have
Yeah.
much rather have graduated on that field than a
Yeah.
stage. And getting 2 wins.
That was big. Yeah.
Yep. And so for y'all's like last ride here, I mean, now it's, you know, you keep playing as long as you keep winning. So what are y'all feeling as it kind of gets really real here later this week and hopefully beyond?
I think it is what it is now. I mean, if we play like we know how, we'll keep winning. But I mean, just knowing that, like, we really just need to give our all into this next and just kind of empty it out. And so having no regrets really is the big thing.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about emptying the tank and making sure you leave your all on the field every time you step on it from now on out, because you never know when it could be your last, and just having no regrets and making sure everybody's relaxed, because when we relax, we play our best out there, and that showed Saturday when we finally relaxed.
Sunday night had a pretty cool team bonding event.
Yeah.
Yes. We went to my house for a crawfish boil, and the Pats put down some crawfish.
Oh,
I'll tell you
yeah.
that. Put down some crawfish.
Love that. All right, well, later this week in Alabaster at Veterans Park, y'all laid on the line and see where the JUCO tournament shakes out. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shout out to the brothers. And also, Pat family, come out and support.
Yeah.
Make it loud.
Very good.